Nate the Great stalks stupidweed. I, Nate the Great detective, was weeding my garden. My dog Sludge was digging in it. Oliver came over. Oliver always comes over. Oliver is a pest. I have just lost a weed, he said. No problem, I said. You may have all of mine, but this was my weed, Oliver said. Can you help me find it? I, Nate the Great, am not going to look for a weed. I always take important cases. This is an important weed, Oliver said. I bought it for a nickel at Rosamond adopt a weed sale. Rosamond picks weeds that nobody wants, and she finds home for them. I believe it, I said. She gave me a certificate of ownership, Oliver said. He pointed to something sticking out of his back pocket. It was a thick, rolled up piece of paper with a ribbon tied around it. Oliver pulled the paper out of his pocket and handed it to me. I untied the ribbon and unrolled the paper. It was a log. It had a printing on it. There was a shiny shell stuck on the paper. It also had a printing on it. See, it had an important weed, Oliver said. It also came with a record that Rosamond made to play to her weed, to help them to grow. Be proud you're a weed, wild and free, and you might grow up to be a tree. Rosamond think big, I said, as well as strange. I gave the certificate of ownership back to Oliver. Tell me, I said, what happened after you bought the weed? I took it home, Oliver said, but it looks thick. I played a Rosamond record for it. Then it looked thicker. So I went to the library and looked and found a big book about the weed. I took it home. I read about the thick weed and healthy weed. The book told me then how to make a thick weed healthy. It gave 3 steps. Step 1, put the weed in the dirt. I put with dirt in it. Then I dug the weed in it. Step 2, give weed sun. I took the weed in the pot out to my back porch and put it on my railing where the sun was shining. Step 3, give the wet weed water. I went into the house for a glass of water. When I got back to the porch with the water, the pot was there, but the weed was gone. Perhaps the weed did not think what you were doing to it. I said, perhaps it escaped. I never did the 3 steps, Oliver said. I have already solved your case, I said. Today, if it's a breezy day, the wind blew away in the breeze. The breeze is going east. Your widow could be in China by now. But China is way outside my porch, Oliver said. And my porch is scanning in. I need the grey. Do not want to look for your weed, I said. I would not know it if I could find it. My weed looks small and scraggly and sick, Oliver said. It has a yellow bud. Rosamond had it will grow into a flower that will reach as high as the sky. That is why I bought it. Oliver stood there and looked up at the sky. He might have stayed forever if I did not look for his weed. Very well, I said. I will take your case. I wrote a note to my mother. Show me where your weed disappeared, I said to Oliver. Oliver slouched and I walked to Oliver's back porch. It was screened in. I looked for holes and cracks, but I could not find any. I looked at the railing. It was covered with dirt. A pot of dirt was sitting on it. Beside the pot was a big book with a dirty fingerprint on the cover, but I could read the cover. It said, "Wonderful Weed of the World." I walked around the porch. I looked in the corners and under and on the top of things. So the sniff. Your weed has to be on this porch, I said. But it isn't here. This is a doll's case. I must go to Rosamond's house, adopt a weed sale. Perhaps I will learn something there. I will follow you, Oliver said. Not if I can help it, I said. I need the way, and Sludge ran to Rosamond's house. She was sitting outside behind a table that was covered with weeds and cats. There was a big can of water under the table. There was a sign beside the table. I am looking for Oliver lost weed, I said. He lost his weed? Rosamond asked. That was my star weed. It will grow to the sky. It's super weed. It's sick, I said. Oliver didn't love it enough, Rosamond said. Would you know it if you saw it again? I said. I asked. I know all my weeds, Rosamond said. I kept a list of them in this book. Rosamond opened the book. She had one on her lap. Oliver's weed was a yellow bud, she said. I already do know that, I said. And its name is superweed. Oh, Rosamond said, I know that too. I need the grade that had a better name for it. But I did not think that Rosamond would like stupidweed. You have told me everything that I already knew. Oh, good, Rosamond said. I knew I could help you. Rosamond closed her book. Annie and her dog Fang were coming down the street. Sludge ducked under the table. He knocked over the can of water. It fell on Rosamond's feet. Plop! Floppy Sludge! Rosamond cried. You got me feet wet. This was not a good day for Sludge. He was afraid of Fang. He was also afraid of Rosamond's cat. I spoke to Annie. I am looking for a weed with a yellow bottle on it. Maybe Fang ate it, Annie said. Is Fang a weed eater? I asked. Fang will eat almost everything, Annie said. Watch! Annie shouted. Fang! Weed! Fang grabbed a weed in his teeth and started to run away. You owed me 2 cents, Fang, Rosamond shouted. Rosamond forecast ran after Van. I hope that Rosamond and the cat would have a big fight. I hope that they wouldn't all lose. The world would be safe forever. Sludge ran out from under the table. He knew it was time to leave. We had a big logo for stupidweed. But where? Perhaps we should look where the lots of things grow. Perhaps we could find a clue in the woods or in a park. Sludge and I walked to the woods. We peered inside. It was dark and scary in there. It was almost as scary as a fang. I need to read his cases. Whether I had to be the brave. Sludge and I crawled into the woods. We heard something behind us. It was gaining on us. It was Oliver. Sludge and I hid behind a tall tree. Oliver ran into the woods. Sludge and I ran out. We ran to the park. We sat down on the bench. Everything was sunny and bright and safe. I liked it there. Flowers and plants were everywhere. Was there a clue amongst us these growing things? Was there a weed? Suddenly, I saw something. It was Claude. Claude is always losing things. He was crawling down a path among the flowers. Did you lose something? I asked. A worm, he said. It crawled into the ground. I can see it, but I knew it is indeed there. It is right under our nose. Can you help me find it? This was not a good day for me, Date the Great. I had been asked to find a weed. I had been asked to find a worm. It was time to do something important. I went home and made a pancake. I gave Sludge a bone. I thought about the case. I had to find the weed and lose Oliver. But I had stopped. The weed I could not have lived. I thought about the clues. What did I learn? The weed name was superweed. I knew that was not important. The weed had a yellow bud. Maybe that was important. Maybe it wasn't. The weed was lost. Last seen inside the pot on Oliver growling. Last seen was always important. What was Oliver doing just before the weed disappeared? He was reading from a book and looking at his weed and turning away from his weed to go into his house. Were those clothes? I thought of Rosamond. She was strange. That was not a clue. That was her problem. Then I thought about her books and her can of water. I looked at Sludge eating his bone. He always tried to help me something with my cases, but all he had done was knock over Rosamond's can of water. Was he trying to tell me something? I thought about the cloud and its worm. Suddenly, I knew I had a lot of good clothes. I had to go back to Oliver's house. It was hard to do. Oliver was sitting on his back porch. I lost yours in the woods, he said. Did you find my weed? I am getting close. Close, I said. I looked at it rarely. Where is your weed book? I took it back to the library, Oliver said. Then I, Nate the Great, must go to the library. I will follow you, Oliver said. I know it, I said. Sludge and I rushed to the library. Sludge had to wait outside. I went inside. I looked for weed book. I found a wonderful weed of the world. It had a dirty fingerprint on the cover, so I knew that it was Oliver's copy. I pulled it down. I opened it up. I looked inside. I found what I knew I would find. Oliver's weed. It was between the two pages. It was a pressed against the 3 steps. I did not look stick anymore. It looked dead. I took the weed from the book and put the book back on the shelf. I knew that step 1, 2, and 3 could not help Oliver's weed. Nothing could help Oliver's weed. I left the library. Oliver was outside, and with the sludge, I held up the weed with both hands. It needed both hands to keep it up. Here is your weed, I said. The case is sold. How did you find it? Oliver asked. Clues, I said. Lots of clues. I saw the cloud looking for a worm in the ground. He could not see it, but he knew it was in there, just under our noses. I thought about that. Your weed could have been in something close by, but we still could not see it. What was near the pot? What was just under our noses? Your weed book. But you gave me a biggest clue. When you said you were using the book, when the weed disappeared, when I saw your book, it was closed. I remembered reading the title on the cover. It had to be the closet for me to do that, but it should have been open because you were still using it. Rosamond closed her book when she was through with it. Why was your book closed when you weren't through with it? Oliver shuddered. Dory will tell you why. The breeze blew it closed. Dory will tell you why. The breeze blew it closed while you were getting the water. So what? Oliver said. After the weed fell into it, I said. What? Oliver gasped. Why would the weed do that? Because it was hit by the certificate of ownership sticking out of your back pocket. When you turned to go into your house, the certificate hit the weed, and the weed fell into the book. Plop! just like Rosamond, the candle of water flowed over and old sludge hit it. Turn your back to the pot, Oliver said. Oliver turned. Aha! You're the trifecta is aimed difficultly at the pot of perfect aim. I wasn't trying, Oliver said. Your reed was thick, I said. It was in dry dirt. It was easy for it to plop. It was right under the nose, but we couldn't see it, just like Claus and his worm. So my reed didn't go to China, Oliver said. I need to make a huge mistake. Oliver started at the weed. This weed looks terrible. It will never reach the sky. I am going to Rosamond's house to get my nickel back. I am going home, I said. I said goodbye to Oliver. I'll be over later, he said. I knew it, I said. Sludge and I went back to our garden. I started to read again, but I was tired of it. Perhaps Rosamond could come over and pick them all. She would give them names and homes. That would make everybody happy, exactly me. I had a better thing to do. I, Nate the Great, went back to the library and took out a good, clean book. The end.